Workshop upgrades, garage storage, all kinds of things. Here's a quick look at what we got going on. All right, so new shop. This is a new garage, new space. We just recently moved, and so I'm trying to organize everything, making sense for the space. And so one of the ideas I had was to build a wall between these garage bays for extra storage on the side, but also some shelving on the other side. So there's actually a lot of applications. This might work for a lot of your different spaces. So there's gonna be a little bit of tutorial showing how I made it, and then some other considerations, some pretty cool stuff. Well, here we go. Let's just jump on in, check it out. Little workshop build, little organization. So for this video, you can obviously use the timestamps if you want to just skip on ahead to the build, but like with many of my videos, especially tutorial, I want to explain a little bit more about the considerations. We're just using construction grade 2x4s. I do have some 2x12s, some plywood, pretty basic. You just need a drill. You can use a circular saw. Obviously, you could use a table saw. For me, for those of you who've watched the channel, we just moved, so still a lot of things having to get up and running. I still have to run 220 to the shop, so I'm not using my table saw in this video. So for those of you who maybe don't have all the tools, I'm going to show you how a really simple tool like a track saw can work. And so we're going to break down some sheet goods, some plywood. We are going to use a miter saw just to do some cross cuts for different things, but just a circular saw, I mean, even a jigsaw, you don't need a lot of tools for this. So we're going to be cutting. We are going to show how you can do pocket holes with a jig like this to drill at an angle. It's a little bit stronger, or you can use something like this. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So let's just jump in first with the framing, kind of framing this out. If you're in a basement or another shop space, obviously there's a lot of variables on where you're at. So let's just jump into some considerations for building out the frame. So this is a little different. We're gonna just jump ahead to the full build because I didn't film this before. For this space, right, this was 2 different garage bays and decided basically on building a shelf. But I wanted a wall, so all of my woodwork sawdust stayed over there. Also helped a little bit with sound. And then on this side, I could do shelving. So on that side, I framed it out with wood. I'll talk about why and some really cool things that we're gonna add on later. On this side, we got shelves. So what I did for this is I did, use some existing walls just to tack it in. We are, going into a concrete base. Now, as a general rule, if you're gonna be framing out a wall, you do wanna use pressure treated wood for the bottom on the concrete, and sometimes you want a vapor barrier. It just depends on your region and what you need. For me, I didn't. You are going to use some concrete screws. Just get a masonry bit and a hammer drill, and then you can use Tapcon screws. You'll see that in a bit, but it's really basic. And if you've never done anything like this, obviously, you could use, a framing nailer. You could use all kinds of things like that. I just love using pocket holes for shop organization. So we're just using a drill and pulled off this whole thing. So let's do a quick kind of overview on how we built this, and then we'll show some other considerations for shelving.
So again, there's loads of ways to do this. How I went about it is I just built it in place. Now you could build it ahead of time and then tack it in and shim it up. I just decided to put a header up on the ceiling and then a footer on the bottom. And then I'm using 2 2x4s for my studs because I want to have that shelf on the other side that you saw. Now, if you want a cleaner look, you could do 2x12s, but that's going to be a lot more expensive. Now, I opted to just do pocket holes. I'll talk more about pocket holes and some other joinery methods later. I just did 2 pocket holes on either side, and then just using the 2.5-inch screws, just tacked them into place. Of course, using a level, making sure everything's plumb, your studs, your spacing. I went with about 14 inches as opposed to traditional 16 inches, just because that was the size I wanted for the shelf on the other side. Now, a lot more to this. We'll get into it, but a couple other tips and considerations.
So in a lot of my videos, I like to do a little bit more tutorial style, and a lot of times folks find that really fast stuff, they just want to understand it a little bit more. If you don't need this explanation on what's going on, all the different things, use the timestamps to skip on ahead. But big idea, what you saw there is I had these 2x4s. Now, obviously, you could build your frame ahead of time, where you just build out your frame and then you kind of lean it up. I was just operating in a garage where I had a lot of slope and it wouldn't be as square, so I decided to just build it in place. And so I love using pocket holes, really simple. Take a small jig like this, you plop it on, and then you screw in at an angle. This makes things a lot easier. And you'll see that throughout. And so as you saw me put up each of those posts, right, it went up like this, and I drilled into my header, and then I drilled into the footer, the base. And so kind of got that in place. And then you'll see this throughout. And if you haven't discovered this already, I really want to talk about these types of screws and some cool features with it. So there's lots of different screws out there. Most of us use a Phillips head. However, these T25 Torx screws, they work great with an impact driver. And especially working with these kinds of materials, it makes a big difference. Now, in general, if you're going to be drilling through any kind of material, it's usually a good idea to pre-drill. And so you can use something like this, a countersink bit, and you just kind of go in. And it's going to do a little pilot hole for you there, so it's going to prevent the wood from splitting. Prevents the wood from splitting. And then you can take your screw and then you drive it in. Now this, it's not going to strip on you. These are just so much stronger. And that's what you saw, and you'll see me doing this a lot throughout the video. Hugely helpful. So next up, you're going to see me using a hammer drill to go into the concrete. Again, you usually want to have a vapor barrier or pressure treated. It really depends on your climate, but that's a best practice. For this part, hammer drill, you're going to need a masonry bit. It has a lot more kick to it, and you're going to follow up with the Tapcon screws.
Now at this point, this thing is not moving at all, but I do want to add some screws to the bottom. So I used that hammer drill, I drilled right through the wood, and then I switched over to hammer mode. And now I'm using these Tapcon screws. I actually only did 3, across here. I didn't do the full 5, but it's not moving. Again, it depends on what you are doing for your purposes. Obviously, I'm not doing anything to code or anything like that. I mean, it's pretty close, but just a quick little DIY project for your own space. So pretty simple to do this, but you definitely are going to need a hammer drill or a drill with that hammer drill option to do the concrete anchors. Now for some blocking for those studs, just using the miter saw to cut everything to size. Of course, you could use any other saw for this, but this is actually going to be my shelf. Now here I'm using, this is new to me, it's a Craig Jig Foreman. I've used a lot, but I decided it was time to, go ahead and buy one. I've had my eye on these for about 8 years. Finally got it. It is very efficient. So if you're planning to do a ton of pocket holes, this thing, it's going to save your shoulder and your upper body a ton. But went ahead and just used these 2x12s because I knew they were the right dimensions for some of it. But then I also wanted to do some plywood shelves because I wanted some longer. Now right now my table saw is not operational because I'm still getting my shop wired for 220. So I'm using the track saw. Now I've used this track saw a ton. It's really handy doing that trick of having the foam insulation underneath. Whoops, I didn't set the depth stop at the right height. So it cut through the insulation. Now we're adjusted and it just goes through a bit. Now that I have my plywood ripped down to size, I'm just cutting it for my different shelves on the other side. Now here you can kind of see what it's gonna look like. Here my son started to jump on in and help out. Now you could do this a lot of ways. With these plywood shelves, you could just use pocket holes on the underside, but they're thinner and it depends on what you're holding. So we are adding a little runner here, just some scrap cedar, some scrap softwood. Just some scrap wood as these little cleats or these little shelves. And so we have a piece of plywood that's got the height that we want. We went with about 14 inches for height, and it's about 14 inches in between. So it's not perfectly IKEA square, but it's kind of around there because mostly what I'm going to be storing in here is about 12 inches wide. So this is definitely an easier method if you don't want to do pocket holes at all. You can just go ahead and tack these cleats in, and then you can put your plywood shelves on. You can use a nail gun like I used here. Now you will want to adjust to make sure everything's level, kind of keep looking at it, but my son and I, 11-year-old and I, we made quite the team. If you watch any of my videos, you'll see him in quite a few of them since he was about 3. He was helping in the shop, and he's been doing the pocket holes for a long time with me. Anyway, we got our shelves. So I did plywood on the bottom. Now I'm back to that 2x12 material. So there's no, runner on these ones. They're sturdy enough. I just didn't want to keep buying more 2x12s because they're more expensive than plywood sheets and you can use scraps. So you kind of get the idea here. And then as we got to the top, and I knew I would have clearance for my machines that was going to be up against these, I went with a longer shelf. So it's about, 11 inches depth, how deep it is. But up top, I wanted it about 18 inches long because I have some laser materials that are longer. And so just 12 inches, if I put the 12-inch piece on there, it would flop over. So we're doing that same idea here with those little cleats up top, but now we're gonna switch over to some longer plywood shelves. All right, now for a backer board on the back of those shelves, because I want to do a custom wall I'll talk about later. Again, this track saw is really helpful, even if you have a table saw for breaking down sheet goods. I just never had the space to store a big piece or even small pieces of the foam insulation before, but works great. Like I mentioned earlier, make sure if you do this method, you set the depth so it doesn't cut through. As you see, I had the little flopped insulation on the side there. Whoops, still works great. But anyway, this one, you can adjust, for a full, 8-foot long rip like so. Lots of options. I didn't even need the sawhorses. I could have just done this whole thing on the ground. I just had the sawhorses up, but you just go ahead and rip it down. It's actually pretty simple. And now you can see what it's looking like after we get that first piece down. Make sure everything's level. I did shim it up a bit, and I know where all the studs are, so I'm just going straight into the studs with just some construction grade screws. Love those torque screws. Very nice. You can see that little shim there in the bottom left. So I went with that instead. We'll shim it at the bottom, and then it's going to look a little cleaner up top where we see most of the time. Anyway, stay tuned. Some really cool stuff that we're going to do with this blank wooden wall as opposed to drywall or anything like that. But now that it's all cleaned up and we have the plywood backed in, now you can see the shelves. Now for me, this is laser supplies, wood materials. So this is just a great option for all kinds of different things, right? In your garage, maybe you're not a woodworker or a laser enthusiast. Lots of ideas.
And there you have it, we got storage. So obviously storage, really helpful for all the laser applications. Obviously this is not just, to laser, but that's why I went with the 14 inches. A little bit of room for these 12-inch wide pieces, but obviously studs are usually about 16 inches apart. But if you're building this out as not just a wall, but also like a shelving unit, you can play around with that. But really, really nice. Lots of storage possibilities here. Really, really simple.
So here's a quick look at that shelving setup and how it works for me. However, how does it look on the other side and what am I gonna do over here? So you can see, yeah, it does cut the space a little bit for sight lines, but it will keep some of the sawdust in, maybe some of the sound, but what else?
So we've got a wall. Now, one of the advantages of doing plywood as opposed to drywall or anything like that is obviously it's wood, so you can tack anything up on it however you want. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna make what's called a French cleat wall. I've done this before where you just take some scrap plywood like this, it's cut at a 45, and then we can mount this across, and then you make these little holders like this, and we can hang all kinds of things. So I'm gonna hang clamps on here, but here are some other things that I've used French cleats with before and some other ideas and why this is really a great idea for some shop organization.
So if you're new to the world of French cleats, really simple, it's a cleat, right? It's just a 45-degree rip on some scrap wood, some plywood, you put on the back, and then it holds in place. There are methods of locking it in place with, little shims and spacers. There's a lot of other design ideas, but this is just so simple. And so here I've made a lot of these really cool things that you see in the background. Got little backers there. This is awesome. So I'm going to be doing a lot more of this. If you want to know how I built these little inserts, how I built these storage units and whatnot, I actually have an older video. This one's probably about 5 years old of my old shop, my old garage. So you can check out that shop tour. It's got a lot of tutorials in it too.
Well, there you have it. Quick, simple, really easy build. You don't need a big fancy workshop. Really, you just need a drill and maybe a circular saw. You can pull it off, obviously. some other cool things make it happen too. Well, if this video added value, please consider subscribing to see more videos like this. I've got a ton of shop organization, really simple DIY projects, obviously some more woodwork, lasers, all kinds of other things as well. This is a new space, so there's a lot more that we're gonna do to build this out. This did help a little bit with the echo, but I'm gonna have to do some sound panels, all kinds of different things, some cool stuff coming, and obviously gonna make a lot of really cool stuff. Well, I appreciate you watching. Hopefully it helped, and until next time, take care.